What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now, today is an exciting day because it is the final day of talking about clerics, at least those that are officially released. And so it's been a long ride, but we finally made it, and so we will be moving on to some new pastures, some greener pastures, starting next week. Well, maybe. We'll just have to see. But before I get into next week's schedule, go ahead and leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, most people who watch this channel are not subscribed, so please help us to get to 2,000 by the end of this year. I think we can do it, but I need your help. And of course, once you do so, click the bell so you're notified whenever new videos are uploaded. And of course, share the video with your friends. So like I said, this is the last week of talking about the cleric, but that doesn't mean we're done talking about clerics forever, and I'll explain. So next week, we are going to be having our celebration of meeting 1,000 subscribers. So thank you all to you who have joined before 1,000, and thank you all to you who have joined now afterwards. I really appreciate all of you and for your continued support, of course. If you want to get a hold of me directly, you can always do that by Twitter or by Discord. I always try to let people know about that as well, so that is always an option. Links in the description for that. So we are going to be having our celebration next week, and so on Tuesday we're going to be doing a Blood Hunter build per request of all of you in a previous poll, and then of course we are going to be doing our special, which is going to be the podcast with my group and I, who are currently in Curse of Strahd, and I think we're going to have an amazing time with that, so be looking forward to that as well. After that, we are going to be moving on to some homebrew. Again, these polls are fantastic. You guys let me know what you want to see on the channel, and I will do that. So we're going to be starting with the Juggernaut Barbarian. We're going to be catching back up with the classes we have covered so far. And then moving forward, once we get to Druid, we will add the Druid that Matthew Mercer put out recently, and that will be just part of them in alphabetical order. So we will cover all of them at the same time in that way. So that's cool. We're just going to get caught up, which I think is just 3 or 4 subclasses so far, and then we will be just moving on from there. So without any further ado, let's actually talk about our fix for the War Domain Cleric. The War Domain Cleric barely missed the cut, pun intended, earlier this week, and so we are going to have to fix it. Now, does it need a ton of tweaks? No. But I think there's a way to make a powerful subclass without overblowing it, and actually somewhat focusing on weapons. One problem with the cleric is that it is so good at spellcasting that really focusing on weapons is usually not as optimal. However, with the original version of this, it tried to focus on weapons, but it ended up just stepping on the toes of your own spellcasting, which just made this worse. And so I think that's a problem, and I think that we can fix that today. So of course, in the description you will find a link to what I am looking at today with my fixes, and of course comments are welcome as far as if you think this is too powerful, think it's too weak, whatever you want. I would love to know down there below. Let's jump in. So like always, we start with the expanded spell list, and I made a couple of changes, but very minimal overall, because I really think that the expanded spell list was pretty on brand with what we needed, but I did bump it up just a little bit. We swapped in Compelled Duel, which is not the best spell in the world, but I think that it is very flavorful in what we are going for here. Magic Weapon and Spiritual Weapon, those are fine. Crusader's Mantle is a great one to keep, but we added Elemental Weapon. That just makes a lot more sense to me anyway. And then we also added on Destructive Wave, which is, I know, pretty powerful because of course 5th level Paladin spells normally don't come online until very late in a Paladin's progression, but here we are having it at level 9, so it's very powerful, and I really like that spell. I think it works great for the War Domain Cleric. At level 1, we of course get our bonus proficiency. I'm not going to change that. We're not going to lose our martial weapons or our heavy armor. That's of course a fantastic feature already. However, from here on out, we're basically doing something a little bit different, at least with a little bit of a twist. At level 1, we would normally get the ability to make an attack as a bonus action. However, in Tuesday's video, which if you haven't seen is up in the icon above right there, we talked about how that really steps on the toes of Spiritual Weapon, and we want our bonus action freed up in order to do that. So if we're going to make an attack with a weapon, we want the regular extra attack feature Or we could work in some kind of crazy homebrew thing that ends up being more complicated than it's worth. So in my opinion, it's better just to keep it simple and just give this one extra attack, which we will later. Not at level 1. We're not giving extra attack to something at level 1. That's crazy. At level 1, instead, I took the Channel Divinity and kind of modified it and put it here as the level 1 feature. Is it powerful? Yeah, but it's still limited in how many times you can use it, so I don't think it's that crazy. So, Guided Strike comes here at level 1, and so how it reads is, when you or a creature within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, you can use your reaction to bestow a bonus to that roll equal to your Wisdom modifier. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So, it was a plus 10 before, but it was once per short rest. So, I don't think that that's nearly as useful because you don't get to use it nearly as much. That's just me. It worked on one attack roll per rest. And I don't like the thing that's just, okay, you hit one attack. Great. You know, you got plus 10 damage with your Great Weapon Master. Whoop-de-doo, right? Who cares? You only did it once. So what I'm saying is I like doing it like this. And the thing is, which it uses your reaction to do this, right? I almost didn't make it use your reaction, but if you do that, then you're free to do that with 2 attacks per turn for extra attack. And then if you were to take Action Surge, once you have a plus 4 to your proficiency bonus, you could do that to 4 attacks in 1 turn, and that could get a little out of hand. So it does cost your reaction, and I think that that's a better way to balance this. And we went ahead and took it and combined it with the previously 6th level feature that allowed you to take your 2nd level feature and use it on your friends. So we combined that, made it a level 1 feature. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And because it's relying on your Wisdom modifier, if you multi-class, you might end up becoming a little mad and your bonus goes down from there if you have to focus on some other kind of stat. So I think that's great, and doing proficiency bonus times per day is just kind of the way that Wizards is going with everything right now, and so I think that it's more than fair to have it like this. So, Channel Divinity, right? We're going to have to change it entirely because we have taken it and the 6th level original Channel Divinity and put that all in level 1. So we've got to do something different. So here is what I have come up with. It's something that is a little more applicable in a longer period of time so that it's actually worth using. So here is what we get. I'm calling it Divine Empowerment, which I know is not the most original of names, but it is what it is. So, as an action, you may touch a weapon with which you are proficient, which is going to be most weapons. For the next minute, the affected weapon deals additional damage equal to a number of d4s equal to half your proficiency bonus, rounded down. At 7th level, the die increases to a d6, and at 13th level, it goes up to a d8. So, I almost considered having this rounded up, but I think that's a little too much. And honestly, the extra damage is still really nice, right? It is going to be the same type of damage as your weapon, right? So that takes care of Divine Strike that came online later, which I thought was stupid. I think it's dumb, right? Now, this is going to be a really nice multi-classing option now, because now once per short rest, if you don't go any farther than this, you can add a couple of d4s, right? And you can add more d4s as you go, but they will never get above d4 unless you really commit to going cleric. And that's the whole thing. You want compelling things at low levels, but you don't want them so compelling and so overpowered here that every class needs it. You know, it's not something like Action Surge where almost any build wants that, right? This is a little bit more toned back. It is, 1d4 for now once you get to 2nd level for 1 minute. So it is definitely pulled back from what it could be. I'm trying also not to step on the Blood Hunter's toes, which the Blood Hunter can go for longer than a minute if they need to under the rules. So it's cool. I think it's a cool feature. I think it's a better use of this. You have a minute. You have 10 rounds to use this. And I think it's great. I think it's really, really cool. Let me know what you think of it, of course, down below. At level 6, of course, we did get a Channel Divinity option, which again was thrown out the window. Instead, we're just going to get extra attack. We are not getting the special extra attack feature from Bladesinger. No, I think that is going to stay unique to Bladesinger. I don't think that we need it here. I think that could get a little bit out of hand. At level 8, we of course get Divine Strike. However, we have changed it back to Radiant Damage. Radiant Damage is just going to be more useful overall because you're going to run into things that are resistant to your just bludgeoning, piercing, slashing if you don't have a magical weapon. By level 8, you should have a magical weapon, but if for some reason you don't, then this gives you some other type of damage, since we've already added onto it, back at level 2 on a limited basis. So I think this is fine. It's the exact same wording from other subclasses that get it, nothing too crazy. Finally, at level 17, I buffed this feature because my god was it disappointing to have Avatar of Battle to sound like this crazy tough person and only get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing with non-magical weapons. You're facing all kinds of magical weapons at this point, right? It only makes sense that you would have it to all creatures, right? To all bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage. So that is what we have done. It is now blanket resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. However, I also buffed it a little bit more. In addition, as an action, you can touch a creature and give them the same benefit for 10 minutes once per day. I think this is great. I think it really needs the ability to give this to your friends. This is war, right? War is not a one-person effort, and so if you can help your friends to be up there, you're the front liner, right? You're going to be up there with them so you can heal them, give them the resistance, and this makes you and your party a lot harder to kill, especially if you're up there with a barbarian and, say, a fighter, right? Give this to the fighter, and now you all are an absolute unit. It's going to be very difficult to take you all down, and that is fantastic. It's level 17. You should be really hard to kill at this point, and that just means your DM can throw really hard creatures at you. So that is our fix for today. Let me know what you think down below. I am always looking forward to your comments and you letting me know what you think of these things that I come up with. Of course, next week is our celebration week, so be looking forward to that. And then we are going to be covering some homebrew and then back to Druid with our regularly scheduled videos. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, a great weekend. Stay safe out there, stay healthy, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.